Hey, thanks for tuning in to Unmaking a Mess with Darlene Morgan, where I use my life experiences to help others. I usually write from a single mom perspective, but hope to reach many others as well. You can find me on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook, as well as my online blog, all titled the same, Unmaking a Mess. Because there are just so many messes that I have made in my life that need to be undone, even from way back, that I personally am working on, but working through as well, and learning yet to this day. And so definitely tune in, subscribe, share, leave some comments, let me know you're out there, because I would absolutely love to hear from you. Okay, I usually write my blogs first, and so that's where this one is coming from. It's from my online blog, Unmaking a Mess, and this one is titled Change. I wrote it just a couple of weeks ago, although it is definitely still relevant. A lot that is still on my mind at this particular time. And so I'm going to be reading from my online blog, and definitely give it a listen, and check out some of my other podcasts as well. So, all right, here we go. This one is titled Change. When you get to your 50s, stuff just changes. You have to make decisions that are really tough. Things just really change constantly in your life. It just seems like with every decade that you go through, it's kind of like your mentality changes, and hopefully for the better. I know for me, it's taken a super long time to get where I am now, and I don't mean just in a physical sense or a financial sense, or society sense or anything like that. I mean, even mentally, I know that given the life that I had growing up and getting through as a young adult, I've actually had to change so very much in my life. If many times if I just wanted to survive. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from here. As many of you know, things just are constantly happen. I don't think just because we get to a certain age, everything just kind of like drops off and suddenly we can handle it all, or you don't have like these crises anymore. It just continues. And so we have to learn how to navigate it all. In this particular case, I wrote down, that in this case, it has a lot to do with conversations and changing, a lot in my life regarding, decisions I've made and moving forward here in a few years, where I may have to get like an actual job. I don't want to do that. I want this to be my job, but financially things are going to change. And so each and everything that I do every day always affects that decision. If you've said something to someone that means a lot to you, and I'm going back because I have a lot of conversations with people, and I even the conversations where I am just having everyday stuff, I think that absolutely also kind of helps me to decide, what directions to go. I think every encounter that we have with people is a way to analyze exactly what is best for us. So I was talking to someone the other day, and it was someone that I thought, like we had a really great mutual respect. And they act like they're listening, but they're actually not. They're really just kind of listening and nodding. And I wrote down, they're just kind of like blowing smoke up your, what. And you realize that after this happens over and over again, it's really starting to burn. And it's time to take those panties off and put on your big girl panties and change your suit once and for all. Yeah, I know, quite the analogy, I realize, but how often has someone told you, put on your big girl panties and suck it up, deal with it, handle the situation, And so, in other words, grow up and get a clue. We're never too old to grow up. We're never too old to get a clue. We're never too old to learn something. And that's kind of like where I'm at right now. I am a person that lives a lot on quotes and on Bible verses. And so this in particular, I added some quotes here that really kind of resonate with me. A few of them are: nothing will change if you change nothing. Duh. Stop shrinking to fit into places you've outgrown. Progress is impossible without change. And above all, sometimes change is what we need. So when I write about conversations with people that are just not effective anymore, that means it's time to evaluate who is actually the problem here. And in this case, I really have to point the finger at myself. A close friend once told me that we teach people how to treat us. In other words, if we put up with disrespect and allow a person to treat us horribly, then it's up to us to make that change. We cannot make a person change. As much as we would love to do this, it is almost impossible. I learned this the hard way in my most recent marriage. I was so focused on changing him that I lost myself in the process. This is absolutely not what God intends for us. Jesus demonstrated this to us by continuing to be himself and leading people through his own examples. Us humans aren't quite built that way, which makes change not easy, but it is possible. Making changes that are ever so difficult, but realizing you only have so many years left. This is not easy when you have programmed yourself to hear the same words over and over. Not easy when you have witnessed the same actions over and over and you have subconsciously normalized life this way. Sure, we change lifestyles, we change where we live, we change our eating habits, our exercise habits, we have kids, family and friends pass away, yet we continue with the same mentality and behaviors that we've exposed ourselves to, including the same environments. I did this from a very young age. I witnessed how my mom was treated by men, and even though I knew it was wrong, somehow I repeated that cycle by getting involved with men who ended up treating me very similar. The only difference between my mom and I was she put up with it. Me, not so much. I did too. I put up with a lot of stuff, but I also developed this independence about me where I told myself, I won't deal with what my mom dealt with, so I'll just work on changing the guy. It takes tons of courage and motivation to change our surroundings, to better ourselves, and to better ourselves for our children. And this was something I did not do until it was done for me. Sometimes life will help you out when you know you need to make changes, but you're just not motivated to do it. Life will throw you into the abyss and force you to gain the strength to get out. Physical strength is one thing. I've always been able to have this energetic level about me that keeps me going. But the mental strength, not so much. I think I have it like when I think I can change someone, not a good way to have it, or when I stick up for myself or my kids in certain situations. That's the good part of it. But do I truly possess the mental strength, especially if I notice I continue to place myself in situations that are not healthy for me? I've done better at this. I've removed myself from areas that are not good, but I also continue to keep some type of cord connected because I don't think I can remove myself 100%. And to me personally, I feel like that is me not trusting God completely. That's me trying to maintain some type of control, which by now in my life, I should realize absolutely does not work. It takes tons of courage to change our thought process. Once we get used to thinking a certain way, it really is hard to shift the mindset. You know, what if we do something different? What if it's wrong? What if we look dumb? What if we lose friends because they don't like us anymore? What is the right thing to do? Stay the same, even though those old ways won't open new doors? Another good quote. What if God won't be there for me? What if this is not God's will for me? Why is it easier to just stay the same? Even when we know we are doing harm to ourselves, harm as in our words are hurting others, our words are hurting ourselves, their words are hurting us, their actions are hurting us, our actions are hurting us and others. Our eating habits hurt us, our lack of motivation keeps us in the same job, in the same body, in the same relationship, same place mentally. You get the ideas. Well, this has been me for several years. I give in to the same old thoughts, same expectations, same environments, and just allowing the same people to treat me the same way. It's not healthy. It has been time for me to be brave, to change, to weigh out the positives and the negatives, and to remove the negatives as much as humanly possible. To tell myself, here's some quotes again, do not complain about things that I'm not willing to change. Excuse me. Stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. So frustrating, yet I still expose myself to that thinking I can change that. Negative people need drama like oxygen. Stay positive and it will take their breath away. A negative mindset will never get you a positive outcome. All very basic understandings, yet so difficult to absorb and appreciate. It's so hard to do, and especially the older you get, it's kind of like all these thoughts start to come to your mind like, what if I fail? But then again, what if I get exactly what I need? I have no savings built up. So what if a person changes a job and it doesn't work out? Businesses don't hire older people. What if it just doesn't work out? What if my expectations are not in line with what God intended for me? How will I know? A very wonderful singer that I love so much, okay, it's Bono from YouTube, once said, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And I really can relate to that song. And so I think about it quite often. I tell my kids to explore now while they can. See the world, try this job, and see if you like it. Don't place too much pressure on yourself. Give yourself grace, be brave. Not everyone is going to agree with you. Speak up for what you want, just do it appropriately. Wow, such great advice. Why can I not take it? I believe in me. I believe in me because I know God does too. I sense Him all around me, looking after me. I've had to trust Him at times when that was all I could do. I trust Him at times even when I didn't realize that's what I was doing. And so to kind of explain that, a quick share why I write Trusting God even though I didn't realize it, I'm going to share another story with you. I could give so many examples, but I think I'll stick to my drug-induced days since I boldly went there recently. So here we go. Very transparent here, which I think is super important, you know, when we're blogging and vlogging. Just if we're really going to use our life experiences, well, here's some bold truth here. So during one of my episodes of using powder, in this case it was Coke, I think I was only using it because I didn't have meth and it was given to me. I absolutely could not afford it. I did so much one time that I got really paranoid and afraid. I literally felt like I had no control over myself. I was alone in this little tiny house that I rented, and for some reason I needed to be in an even smaller area, a confined area, as if large rooms, even like a room like this, was totally overwhelming to me. I crawled under a desk and I called a friend of mine to come get me. It was a male friend, and he came and got me, carried me to his car, and took me back to his place, where I laid down on the floor by his bed. I just remember that very distinctly because I didn't want to be up high on the bed. I still wanted to be on the floor, where I just kind of felt like this strange sense of security, wrapped up in a blanket. I slept off the high, and afterwards he fixed me something to eat and he took me home. And after that, I never did coke again. I was absolutely done with it. God was there for me. I didn't know it then, but he was. You think he doesn't consider the life of drug users, of addicts, or what's best for them too? Sure he does. But how did I know I could trust this male friend of mine? I knew because he had demonstrated to me no judgment whatsoever. He honestly, truly cared about me, and he was honest with me. He told me what I was doing was hurting me. He and I are still friends to this day. He is married and lives in a different state, and once in a while we still message just to kind of check in on each other, or he kind of checks in on me because he knows all the changes that I have gone through, and he has seen me at my worst and now seen how much I have changed. I removed myself from my old toxic self. And the other thing I had to do was remove myself from people who had drugs with them. That was not easy. It felt good to be high and not care about anything. Plus, I was fitting in with this crowd when I thought I had no one else. But I did have someone else, and it was Jesus. Don't laugh. I know it's cliche to say, oh, Jesus is always with you, but it is absolutely true. Even though you don't think that's what you want, he truly is. Where was I? Okay. All we need is him. I had known this for years, but my own pride and fixation on trying to supplement my life with people who are doing drugs really clouded my vision. Leaving the drug-induced world is different than leaving an environment that is not fulfilling your life anymore. I wrote that, and then I immediately wrote, or is it? Leaving people behind that use substances was not easy for me. They were cool to me, and it made me feel strong and able to be someone I never envisioned I could be. I carried a I don't give a crap attitude, and that helped me forget a lot about the pain that had already existed in my life for so long. This all happened to me about 30 years ago, yet the memory and the feeling remains strong in me, likely as a reminder of how far I have come. You know, gotta love those reminders. They really show you that strength and perseverance is possible when it is necessary. Change is necessary at some of the most crucial times. I needed to decide for myself way too often what was healthy for me and what wasn't. And it really was difficult, and it sucked each and every time. Never easy. I sure didn't go into it with open arms. Change also meant leaving people behind whom I thought liked me, whom I thought cared for me. You will really see when you make the right healthy choices, you won't have to do it alone. Yeah, Jesus is there, but he doesn't want to see you, make these hard choices on your own as well. So new friends and family can enter your life and be there for you, and somehow, some way, he really does make that happen. You've just got to really open your mind and heart to the possibility of it. If change is necessary and it may affect other people in your life beside yourself, which often it will, how do we do it with the most care possible? Society tells us just think of ourselves. Yet when we make changes in our life that we know are right, is it possibly a way to help others? Because not only does it force us to evaluate our life by removing others or something from our life, but it also changes the environment where we've been. Therefore, it forces others to evaluate their life since you are no longer a part of it. It is then that maybe we aren't just being brave for ourselves, which you absolutely are, but for others too. And to me, that's not being selfish, but it's being proactive about self-care. Definitely a great conversation to have with the Almighty. Okay, I really breezed through that, and it kind of came to this, it was supposed to come to this like climactic ending, and it just ended with definitely a great conversation with the Almighty. But the emphasis is change is absolutely possible when you know it is needed in your life and you know it's for the right reasons. It's for you, it's for your health, it's for your kids, it's for your spouse, it's for your friends, it's for anybody that you hang around with and you are exposed to time and time again. And so removing yourself from difficult, toxic environments that are not so good for you can be one of the hardest things ever. But you got to realize that even if you aren't a believer, you have to know that God is absolutely there for you. You just got to open those doors and let him in and ask him to just help you to be strong and brave. Okay. I'm including discussion questions because I think that's super important. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what type of changes have you made in your life that was particularly difficult, but you knew were best for you? How long did it take you to accept the change and to feel really good about it? Was there some pivotal moment when God revealed to you the change was necessary, or perhaps some sign that you believe that told you it was the right time to make the change? So, okay, guys. Oh man, I'm at 28 minutes. I'm so sorry, but I wanted to get this one out there, and I think it was a really good one. So, hope you listened all the way through. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please continue to share and subscribe and leave your comments. I would absolutely love to hear from you. More to come from Unmaking a Mess and Darlene. You all take care. Stay safe out there. Stay cool. I'm in Kansas. It's extremely hot here. But anyway, love you all. Remember to ask God to come into your heart and your mind and know that with him, it is possible. All right. See ya.